Just sit right back and hear it tell. Tell of a podcast who gather around their mighty drink to give their point of view. As man is a panel fire, he shows that he has fun. And Donny, our host, will jump along. God must do the score. God must do the score. Big teams are rocky, keeps us free. He often gets his save. And just like he knows the goals, he'll never be Dragons way. Never be Dragons way. The Mad Dragon podcast is a journey unforeseen. With Tasman and Donny to the moon. And there's with Pete and Coco. Just the start. Muzza and the other crew. Here on the Mad Dragon podcast.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Mad Dragons podcast, proudly sponsored by Complete Warehouse Solutions, specialists in warehouse relocation and making good solutions. Go see Jeff and the team today for any inquiries at 6 Commerce Drive, Lake Illawarra, or give them a call on 4257 1930 or 0417 223 409. So joining us on the panel tonight, we have Rob. We've got Big T, we've got Hasman joining us a little later, and we do have a special guest in our bottom right-hand corner, which Big T will introduce in just a little bit. But we are still reeling from our humiliating 38-0 defeat at the hands of the Dolphins last Sunday night. Rob, what are you expecting Flano to do with the team at training this week?
Absolutely flog them, because this last performance was unacceptable, disgraceful, to be honest with you. We were outplayed, yes. The other team, you could probably say, wanted it more. But what I saw in the second half was amateurish, was almost bordering park football, junior football, and even probably touch football. It was a disgrace. There's 3 odd tries on the 5 metres out where almost the players are untouched who are going over. So if you're a professional first grade NRL team, you got to do a lot better than that, to be honest with you. So Flano's just got to go hard at him and get him to respond. And they're playing for the jersey, for that great red V jersey, the pride, tradition of the club, all that sort of stuff. And just, it's got to be competitive. If there's players that aren't playing well, then they've got to be dropped. And that's including Ben Hunt. That's including, JDB. Any player, even like that. If they're not playing well, then they've got to be dropped. You've got to be accountable. You see other coaches will do it. And I don't think Craig Bellamy or a coach like that would stand for a 38-0 thumping like what we got against the Dolphins. Sorry, Jess, but it was purely just a disgrace. There's no excuses for it whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree with that, Rob, and I couldn't have said it better myself. And yeah, a lot of disappointed Dragons fans and the players no doubt would be disappointed. And Flano showed that in his press conference the other night, and hopefully turn them around and make sure they do a 360-degree turnaround this week, because it's our first home game of the year, and it's going to be a big one at Kogarah on Saturday night. So I'll run through the team that Shane Flanagan has picked this afternoon, and this round we celebrate multicultural round. So every year we celebrate multicultural round. So yeah, putting tribute to all the cultures in the NRL and the NRLW, so all the various cultures that players represent and the backgrounds they do have. So we're showing that we are an inclusive game of rugby league. So the way the Dragons will line up for this Saturday night, at fullback Tyrell Sloan. So I've just got their background as well, so you just know a bit about what their heritage is. So Tyrell Sloan is the fullback, and obviously he's an Indigenous Australian. On the wings we've got Zach Lomax, who's Australian, and Mikali Ravalawa, the flying Fijian. The centres are Tongan international in Muzza Suli and Jack Bird, who is Indigenous Australian. At 5F, we've got Kyle Flanagan, And the halfback and the captain is Ben Hunt, Australian. At lock, we got Tom Eisenhuth, who's Australian. We got an all-Samoan back row of Luciano Leilua, who gets promoted into the run-on side, alongside Jaden Sewer. Up front, we got an Australian and Papua New Guinea heritage player in Jack DeBellin, with Blake Laurie as well, an Aussie. On debut, in the jersey number 9, Jesse Marshke, Australian. And on the bench, we've got Conor Mulhyson with the Aussie background, Michael Myler, who has Tongan heritage, Rainford Tathala Mariner has the New Zealand and Samoan heritage, and earning a recall onto the bench is Viliame Vida with Tongan heritage. The extended bench consisting of Christian Tuapolotu, who has Tongan heritage, Ben Murdoch Masilla, also Tongan heritage, Matt Fino, who has Samoan heritage, Ryan Catchman, who has German heritage, and Alec Tuatavake, who has Tongan heritage. Unavailable, we have Francis Molo suspended. He was given a one-match ban for his high tackle on Jared Wallace. Jacob Little is out with concussion protocols, which he was sent for a high TIA 3 times in that loss to the Dolphins. And Hame Sele is still unavailable with that ongoing hamstring injury. Okay, so that's our team for now, which we'll discuss a little bit more a bit later. But I'll hand it over to Big T for this segment. Okay.
There we go, Jess.
Yep, just bringing it up.
Do you want me to start?
I'll get it. Here we go.
Well, good day, Dragons fans. I'm Big T, and this is Beyond Enemy Lines Round 2, 2024. Here we go. The Cowboys at Kogarah Jubilee. What a great ground to play at. I love Kogarah. Or Nestrata, it's called now. Before we bring in our guest, we'll just run through the Cowboys team. We've got Drinkwater, Felt, Holmes, Labour, Tuolangi, Dearden, Townsend, McLean, Robson, Taumalolo, Vinny Fuiaki, Nanai, and Mr. Cotter at the back. Welcome back, Cotter. You didn't go anywhere, but welcome him back anyway. On the bench, you've got Glanville, Neem, McIntyre, and Gashevsky. Chester is the 18th man, and Todd Payton's the coach. All right, I'll bring in our guest now. There's the team there. Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful graphic? Bring in our guest now. Pistol Pete from On the Ranch podcast. Pete, tell us a bit about yourself, about your podcast, and have you always been a Cowboys fan?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for welcoming me on to this great podcast here, boys. Big T. Mate, I've been a Cowboys supporter for quite some time now. I'm 41 in May, so I've been seeing the highs and lows of the Cows for the last probably best part of 25 years straight. And, you know, we've had one premiership in that time, and we've had a lot of bottom finishes, and we've had a lot of rebuilding, and we've had a lot of where you guys are probably feeling like you are at the moment. But let me tell you that the rainbow does shine, and I've got no doubt that you guys will get out of a hole. To be honest, everyone's tipped you guys to be wooden spooners this year. I personally haven't. I think that you are going to be a surprise pack and potentially a top 8 material.
And that's what we're hoping too, mate. We're hoping that as well. Both teams, we didn't finish in the top 8 last year, mate. Neither of us. You were a little bit higher than us. You were 11th. We languished back in, was it 16th, wasn't it, or something? I've forgotten about last year. I can't remember now. What's changed?
It's all little. Oh, sorry, mate. It's all little games that come along with that too, as well. You know, like you know, the amount of times I think you guys came within 4 or 6 points. If you get half of those wins, it's a different story altogether. So winning these early ones at the start of the season definitely goes a long way. I look at last week as just a glitch, to be honest. I don't mind the Dragons, to be honest. I reckon you guys have, you've got a strong, faithful, supporting team and network there. And yeah, you're going through a bit of an ordinary run, but
Yeah, exactly.
like I said, the sun will shine and moving forward.
And you say faithful. Some of these comments we get in our Dragon sites, they're diabolical. What's changed this year from the team that couldn't win away games last year?
For us, I think it's just been a strong pre-season. We hit the 22 season and sort of ambushed the comp, and we come out bigger and better in 23, and everyone had us to win the comp or be up there. And we talk about the World Cup and how we had so many players out, and we didn't have a proper pre-season and all this sort of stuff. I don't read into that at all. You're professional athletes, and we just weren't up to the task. I think we've just gone back to basic roots. Our strength and fitness, looking at the boys and following them up here in the north, it's daylight. We've had, I think, 12 out of the 17 roster from last year have all broken personal bests in the 1.2 kilometre trial. There seems to be a lot more gelling. Everyone seems to be on the same page. You can even see in the expressions on field, when Drinky has done a good play or someone wasn't backing him up in defence, and he's like, well, hang on, why weren't you there? And the disappointment shows on their faces, but also they're getting back to rallying around the good times. If they win the ball with D and force an unforced error, you got 11 players running in and patting each other on the back, which, that galvanises a group, and the on-field success shows for it. I mean, I know it's only been 2 games so far, but all these little 1%ers all add up. If you're going to kick stones and not congratulate your teammates, which sort of looks like on your side, especially from Sunday, I mean, you guys were up for it and didn't really turn up. And those 1%ers, no one was really patting backs or rubbing heads with.
No, we turned up for the first 5 minutes. I thought we were on top in the first 5 minutes, but no, it wasn't to be true. We've got a big Fijian flyer on the wing, and he scored 6 tries in the last 5 games against the Cowboys.
Big McKaylee.
How's Kyle Felt going to stop him? Old man Felt. What's he going to do?
Look, Felty's a good mate of mine, and I've got no doubt that he'll be up for the task.
I'm sure he will be.
Get in front of him, hold him up, and help will arrive. McKaylee on his day is no different to Manu Batabai at prime. He just, it's not going to be an easy task. I think it's just a matter of one-on-one and try and jam in on the centre so he doesn't get early ball with strong running, to be honest. If Labour marks up and does his job, it limits the opportunity for McKaylee to get early seed to crash into the line, because we all know what a dangerous he is. He's 6'4" as well, so aerial assault is also a strong point for you guys. I don't know why you're not bombing to him more often, but yeah, time will tell. I think it's just a matter of get bodies in front of him and limit the early seed that he gets.
Yeah,
Stop those tree trunks from winding up.
Yeah, we don't bomb to Rava, we bomb to Lomax. That's our game plan. So that's what you guys have got to watch.
Don't worry, that was our plan all last year. 5th tackle, put it up. I think you just got to start, especially with the new rules. Yeah, with the new rules, get in front of here and start a bit of jungle ball on the 5th and do what the opposition's not expecting.
Exactly right. Exactly, they've got to do something. All right, who in the Cowboys side the Dragons have to watch, and who in the Dragons side do the Cowboys have to watch?
I'd be looking at Heelan Lukey. He's out this week with, I think, 6 to 8 weeks with an ankle sprain. His replacement, Kuli Kefu Finifuiaki, that's an alphabet of a name to say in itself.
That's a mouthful, mate. It's a mouthful.
Yeah. I think he's going to be relishing in the opportunity to start. And he's only a young lad with great leg drive. Early, you're 10, 15 out from the line, a short pass from Dearden to Cooley, especially targeting Ben Hunt And I don't know, Tyrell Sloan's a bit on the shorter side. I know he's out the back, but I think Cooley Kefu's probably one to watch for you guys. Sorry, yeah, you go.
Yeah. Sorry, mate. You go. Sorry.
So Cooley Kefu's one to watch, and also Scotty Drinkwater's left to right to Felty. He's pulled that off quite a few times. Identified the 3-on-1s, identified the overlaps, and all of a sudden you've got a 25-metre spiral on Felty's chest, and it's curtains. It's game over. So I'd be watching whatever drink he does, but also Cooley straight on the line is going to be a mount to stop. From your boys, the old warrior, Ben Hunt, like he's the conductor of your ship. I know there's probably been there's always hot press around Hunt. Does he want to stay? Is he going? He wants to play. Is he? The board doesn't want him. He doesn't want the board. Ben Hunt's a professional. You know, he's played for Australia. He's played for Queensland. Whenever he walks out on the field, he gives it his all. He's played 300-odd first-grade games now as well. His kicking game alone is, when it's on, it's a masterclass to watch, and that brings your other guys into play, and with Tyrell Sloan swooping out the back as well. So I think those two are definitely one. And as I said before, if you get a Kaylee, a bit of early seed, that can be a very hard thing to stop. You know, he's got good leg drive over the 30 metres. That can break holes in any defensive line.
Pistol Pete, you're such a good guy, very nice guy.
Thanks, Rob.
But I got to say this to you. You identified Ben Hunt. If you look at the last game against the Dolphins, what was happening in that game that, say, it happens different with your team with the halves? What was Ben Hunt? What was happening with Ben Hunt? It was all exclusive. It was all solo. There was no one. The other half really wasn't involved. So
I think
Townsend, who's about the same age, he has a very good, competent 5'8", and Tommy Dearden, who takes pressure off Chad. Chad can run it. Chad can kick it when he wants. Tommy can chime in as well, and hence there's a problem already for the Dragons. If we go from last game against the Dolphins into the game against the Cowboys, and Hunt's trying to do it all on his own, mate, he's going to get tough.
And that's the issue as well, Rob. And like anything, iron sharpens iron. You know, it's an old cliche saying, but the Cowboys now this is the third season with Chad. Dearden's now played about 100-odd first-grade games. Your 5'8" is still a rookie. Tyrell Sloan, there's massive raps on him, but he's still a rookie as well. It'll take time for your spine to gel, and I think Hunt just thinks that he has to do it all. If you have a look at last year, Chad took probably about 90% of the kicking duties. Now he's realised his role in the side that, hang on, I don't have to do it all on my own. And that's where you get Drinky with kicks, you get Drinky with running ball. Dearden pops up and does whatever he wants. Dearden's probably more of a halfback anyway. He just doesn't have the number 7 on his back. So he's probably conducting the ship a bit more. But Hunt probably thinks he has to do it all on his own. And unfortunately, he got found out on the weekend. They shut him down, and your plan B wasn't around to execute. So the spotlight's on Ben for that. But when you don't have a plan B, or you don't have anyone to be able to step up into his shoes, it makes for a tough time. You look at our side. If Chad gets caught with the ball on the 5th, you've got Dearden, Drinky, you've got Valentine. You've also got Robson out of acting half that can be handy with the kick anyway. So there's plenty of options if our playmaker goes down on the 5th.
You just hit it on the head. Look at you guys from the hooker position. Look how fast you are and how you move forward and how, you know what I mean? The hooker's going forward, as you're passing the ball. We've lost Little this weekend, and that's a big out. Now we've got a young guy who's a halfback playing hooker. It's a big responsibility.
It's a bit of a Band-Aid solution on that one.
Yeah, so
we've got nobody else.
Yeah, so it's a big concern. I think you've been really nice to us, but I think you guys are in for a good flogging of us, to be honest with you.
Look, you've always got to support your team, and you've always got to hold your head up. You guys have got a lot of viewers and listeners as well. So, sorry, I've just put my thumb over that. Look, I've been of a big belief that why put a fullback on wing or why put a halfback into hooker just because there is no one else. If you have a look at all the New South Wales feeder clubs through Flegg, Harold Matts, reserve grade, same with the QRL, there's feeder clubs there. There's probably, I don't know how many Dragons feeder clubs have you guys got with Illawarra as well. There's probably 3 or 4.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely.
Surely there is a number 9 in one of those grades that can make the cut. I don't know what coaching staff sees at times. I mean, they know a lot more than what we do. I was saying the same thing last year. Why are we persisting with someone that is completely out of place? And between the Cutters, the Pride, and the Blackhawks at the time, I mean, they've gone to South Sydney this year. You got 3 North Queensland feeder clubs, and you're telling me we can't find a 5'8" somewhere because Dearden's playing Origin. We're going to move Drinky there, and let's play people in positions, and that's the hard thing because Flano wants to get on the front foot, and he's going to go with someone that's played a bit of experience because he needs wins early on. Otherwise, the old coaching merry-go-round goes on the chopping block again. So it does, doesn't it? Yeah. You're a damned if you do, a damned if you don't scenario at times.
It's only because his son can play hooker.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's what we're always doing. He's going to put Marsky at 6 and K Flan at number 9.
Well, look, at least if you put Kyle at 9, you're still keeping a playmaker on the field. I mean, you got to remember that Flanagan and Hunt have only played 2 proper first grade games if you take trials out of it, so they're going to take time to gel.
Marsky doesn't have any NRL experience.
Yeah. So does Hunt carry him through for you? Look, time will tell. Like you got to remember, Cowboys can be rocks or diamonds. I've been supporting this club for a very long time, and I thought we were going to beat Newcastle by 30 plus. We put a score on the Dolphins the week before. We come home to Townsville in our first home game of the season, and it goes to Golden Point, a game that we probably should have lost. In all honesty, you find a way to win it, and then you think, all right, we're 2 from 2, and you go down to play the Dragons, who are, like I said, tipped for the wooden spoon, and you've just come off a 38 thrashing to Redcliffe. You've got to fly from Brisbane back south, and all of a sudden you come out and it's 18-0 at second half time, and the Dragons are up, and it's what the hell are the Cowboys going to do in the second half?
Yeah, well, let's hope it goes that way, eh?
Let's hope it doesn't.
Well, you mentioned we got Tom Dearden. Flano's a big fan of his. He went after him in the off season. There was no secret behind that. We didn't fail to lure him away from Townsville. We did snag Luciano Leilua back from you guys. And then Flano's now after.
How's he settling in down there with Big Luch?
He doesn't look too fit. He's been promoted to the starting side, so he didn't have a great hit out against the Dolphins. But it's a question mark. I don't know how many minutes he played. He didn't get too many against the Dolphins, and Flano's chucked him straight into the run-on side. He looks very underdone.
He could see a bit of red. You might be playing with 12 for 10 minutes against his former club, I think.
And then you've got Flano's shown interest in Helam Lukey. He's not playing for you guys this weekend, and Vinny.
Yep.
What do you think of them? And are you surprised that Flano's trying to lure them to the Dragons?
No, I'm not surprised at all. There's massive wraps up here with Helam Lukey. The only thing holding Helam back is injuries. He was due for a good breakout. Someone's phone's not on silent. He had a good breakout season, and the following year did his ACL, I think, in round 4. Last year, he spent a lot of time on the side through injury as well. And just when you start to get a bit of cohesion with your back rows with Nanai and Lukey, he's out with an ankle injury for another 6 weeks. So Lukey is tipped, all the talk around North Queensland anyway, is he's the next big thing. I know Nanai's played Origin and he has a lot of rising stars about him, but yeah, Lukey's definitely a talent. If you could pry him away from North Queensland, it would be an absolute great buy. I don't think he'll leave though. He is a Cairns product, and I think he likes his time in the north. Cooley is in negotiations at the moment. I think they're hopeful to re-sign him. Again, you watch him play on this week on Saturday. He'll show you what he's got. It's just Tamalolo 2.0. In all honesty, he just needs a bit of polish, which will come with age, with just a bit of a passing game and an offload here or there. But he's a head down, bum up, no nonsense guy, and devastating runner as well. So I'm no surprise that Fano's tried to target those two. Again, he's in a. I don't like using the word rebuild because my opinion is if you're playing in the NRL, doesn't matter where you finished last year or where you are at the moment, you're there to win the comp. You're not there to rebuild a club. Everyone's a professional athlete. Everyone's done their beat tests. Everyone's done their hill sprints and everything else. So you're there to win a comp. Come round 8, it's like, oh no, we're rebuilding. Well, tell your fans that so they don't have to buy season tickets for that year. So, like I said, no doubt that. Yes.
How good was it of Valentine Haynes at the end of the game? And he came out and he admitted he felt down the dumps missing that field goal. But he said, I made 5 or 6 mistakes in the game. We should have never had a blown out score the way it was. And he really took, a lot, you know what I mean, at that, that he made those mistakes for his team.
I think if you look at that game, Valentine, even when he played for the Sharks and for us, I don't think he's dropped more than 1 ball in a game, maybe 2 off a very hard pass. I think he dropped 4 cold off just unforced errors, and he was not himself. I don't know what the hell did. Someone put butter on his fingers that day? I don't know, but for Val to come out and own that afterwards, it's testament because
he'll be in for a game.
Yeah, for a superstar of his status, he'll want retribution on that one. So. That was very un-Valentine characteristic. I was all in shock when he's just taken a hit up and not one tackler on him and the ball's popped free. It's just dropped it cold. Yeah, but we move on and let's hope that this weekend's just a good game of footy. Like, obviously, from my perspective, I want to see Cowboys 19 plus and stamp a bit of dominance. You guys are touted as the weaker opposition this week, but you can only play the team in front of you, and you can only, if we go into this contest half blasé thinking, we're going to roll you guys by 30, then that can really bite us in the arse. So let's just hope that it's a good game, and for my sake, Cowboys get up, and if you guys get the win, well, kudos to that.
Well, I hope we do. Well, you've been an absolute champion, Pete.
Tops.
We've loved having you here. It's been absolutely fantastic. But this is the time of night where I normally take a walk down memory lane.
Right.
You do the name of the frosting up pistol.
I wasn't aware of this one.
Light show and press play.
There you go. You got it on automatic.
Is it going?
It's going. It's on automatic play. Did you set it on that?
No, I don't know. Anyway, just click the pictures for me, Jess. Welcome to Queensland Country Back Stadium, Townsville. Round 2 clash. Next slide. Round 2 clash 2021.
Oh, we're going all the way back to the archives.
Oh, going back way there. Cowboys.
Going back way back.
15,120 fans. The Cowboys team was Drinkwater, Felt, Masters, Tabuai, Fido, Holmes, Morgan, and Clifford in the halves. Frankie Molo, Robson, McLean, Dunn, and Hess. Cotter locks the scrum. On the bench was Glanville, Maguire, Jensen, Burr, and coached by Todd Payton. I wish this was working. It's a really good one. The Dragons with Dufty, Ramsey, Bird, Lomax, Rava, Norman Hunt. Up front we had Laurie, McCulloch, Captain Barbecue, Paul Vaughan, Kerr Sims, and Fui Mayono. Farmasili, Merrin, Alvaro, Williami, and on the bench, coached by Anthony Griffin, referee Ben Cummins. If you can see that little slide there, it would have been good looking big. Cohen Hess scores the first try after 2 minutes from a Jake Clifford bomb. Cowboys 6.
Yeah,
we don't really worry about that.
Chip over the top and a bat back. How good.
And then boom, Rava muscles over. And then boom, Josh Kerr crashes over from close. Dragons at 12-6 with half an hour gone. And then this happens. Can we go down to that other slide there? I don't know where it is. It's below Josh Kerr there, Jess.
The Josh Kerr one?
Yeah, go to the next one down, below Josh Kerr. Just click on it.
Josh Kerr.
And then this happens. Kyle Felt.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
What a tackle, mate. Nothing else happened. He just got put on report. I would have sent him off. I would have sent
nothing in that.
Come on.
Did Felty stay on the field for that?
Yeah, he got nothing for it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. In today's day and age, that's 15 weeks.
Jesus. And then go down to the next slide there, Jess. The one down. The one below Norman.
Not Corey
That one?
Norman.
One below Corey Norman.
Oh, God help us, Corey Norman.
And then this place scores. Just click on the picture there, Jess.
This one?
The
That one.
Valentine Holmes one, mate.
Yep, there it is.
And then this bloke scores. Valentine Holmes. Well, he looks like he scored in that picture anyway. Hey? Didn't it? Hey, how good's that? And the next one down is Run, Benny, Run. I love it when this guy runs. Ben Hunt over for the try. The score then was 18-12. No, sorry. It was 13-12. And then Glanville scores. Oh, my God. Are these Cowboys ever going to go away? 19-18. And then the old put the bomb up for Lomax. Lomax jumps up higher than everybody else, goes down and scores. Full time 25-18. There it is, Jess. I walked down memory lane. A little bit different this week. If we hadn't got that working, it would have been good.
Yeah, he had it on automatic slides.
I was at that game as well, so I remember them. I like that.
Yeah, and then that was beyond enemy lines, and I walked down in memory lane. I hope you enjoyed it all. As I always say, the rest is history. Back to you, Jess.
And you noticed the stats aren't looking head to head as well. The Dragons have won 17 clashes. The Cowboys have won 21. So that's on 38 meetings. The last 6 clashes, the Cowboys have won 5 of them. So yeah, that was our last win against the Cows. That big game, Big T just went through. 2021.
Their last win. It's terrible. They've won the last 4, haven't they, or something? They've won the last 4. But
yeah.
Head to head, they scored 846 points. We've scored 804, so they're a little bit ahead of us because they've had a few more wins. We go right down to the bones, Pete. We go right down to the bones. We find it all.
Yeah. Let's go back to I think '97 at Dairy Farmer Stadium where we beat you 54-4. Can we do it back in time on that one?
We're not going back. We're not going back to that one, mate. We go back to Dragons wins. You've been
as you should.
Hey,
welcome Hasman as well.
Hey boys.
You got any questions for Pete about the Cowboys game? He's been a great guest, absolutely fantastic guest. You got any questions for him?
Well, I'm not sure what's already been asked, but having a look at the Dragon side that Flano's picked, do you see anything that worries you at all?
Yeah, as we discussed before, I think if you get McKaylee early seed to wind up, he's going to be devastating. And Tyrell Sloan, as I said, out the back swooping around, he could be anything. That kid, he's got a bit of Matty Bowen about him as well. So, you know, when you've got someone that's quick off the mark and a live wire, and as touched on as well, the reliable Ben Hunt. I know he wasn't probably your best in the last game, but you know, he's a champion player, and champions always come back bigger and better, especially when they want to try and play against another Queensland club to make up for last week's anomaly in your eyes. So, Yeah, I think it'll be a good game regardless. It could even be a high-scoring affair, you know. If the Cows don't turn up, like look at Knights, this could be 24-22.
It's interesting that you bring up Benton Hunt. They say that your halves are only as good as your forward pack. How do you think the two forward packs match up?
Look, I reckon we've got the wood over you. It just depends how we turn out. You know, McLean, he's a no-nonsense player. He's your typical nut tracker, and everyone goes, "Oh, what did McLean do?" And then you look at his stats, and he's gone 160 meters, made 30 effective tackles, and played some decent minutes. Tamalolo will always be Tamalolo. There's talks of him now with some knee injuries, and they're going to monitor his minute and game times. But again, it's Jason Tamalolo. He's almost I think he's around 270 or so first grade games, so he's got a wealth of experience there. And then you've got with our back rowers, we are going to miss Lukey, but Kuli Kefu's an adamant replacement. Like him and Nanai on your edges, you've got anything that goes in the air on that side, you've got Nanai and Phelps to contest with, and now young Labour, who's a lanky bloke, and Ruben Potter's just a pit bull. He tightens up the defensive line. He's just a good glue in D, and he's not shy of taking the hit ups as well. So again, to be Chad and Did and playing behind that compared to what Benny and Flano's had to do, it's definitely chalk and cheese. But like I said earlier, you're professional athletes. Everyone knows their job. If it finds that the work is too hard, then don't catch a paycheck that week. So I think DeBellin, he's obviously had his issues off field for what I believe was an innocence charge anyway. He wants to come back and still prove to the doubters that he's still a class player. You know, he played Origin, and he was looking like a Blues full-time player there for at one stage, if it wasn't for some off-field scandal that probably shouldn't have even been brought in front of a judge. So he's gonna be up for a big game, and you never know. You just never know in an encounter like this.
That's
right,
it's
going to be an interesting contest. So you mentioned the score could be 24-22. Where do you think the Cowboys' 24 points are going to come from?
Look, it could be that. I'm hoping that's going to be a lot more from a Cowboys perspective. But young Zach Labour, Felt and Nanai, that right edge has been devastating. They've all scored points in the last two games. Drinky swooping around from left to right as well, but he loves hitting Felty with that cutout pass. I tipped Felty for a hat-trick against the Knights, but wasn't to be. So points down that right edge as well. Try to limit McKaylee, make him work in D so that his offense isn't as strong. And who knows, open it up through the middle as well. Like this game, the game in 24 is starting to become more of a middle field battle. There's a lot more points being scored in the middle. You only have to look at the Panthers versus Eels game the other night. You could probably count on one hand how many tries got scored in the middle of the park last year for the Panthers, and there was 3 against them with the Eagles on Friday night. So, and you've got to tighten up the ruck, and by doing that, that goes a long way. But then who knows, gaps out wide start spreading, and we've got potency on both sides of the field. You know, you've got Val and Talangi on one edge, and you've got Labour and Felt on the other, and you've got a swooping Drinky as well with our big back rowers. So it's not going to be easy for you guys to contain, but again, we've still got to execute.
So just had in the comments, Hasman, just had our 2010 Premiership winner and NRLW coach Jamie Sowell just jump in, and he said, Pete, the forward packs match up better than we think. Dragons pack were off last week. He thinks they'll have a response.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, good on you, Sally. Absolutely. I think a big loss for you guys, who I rate highly. I don't know how much credentials he gets down there, but is Frankie Molo, ex-Cowboy player. I was saddened when he left our club. He's obviously out this week, but yeah, look, on paper, like I said, everyone's a professional athlete. Everyone knows how to go toe to toe. I think it's just going to come down to the fitness and who gasses out early. If we can keep the ball in play longer, with less drums, less kick-outs, less finding touch, I think that'll wear down your pack a lot more. I reckon we've got a little bit over it with the strength and conditioning, but that's just my cowboy eye view on that. But yeah, like I said, anything is possible come game day.
But also answered Jamie Soward's question there that Jamie, champion player for us. We didn't have one.
Absolutely.
Forward. We didn't have one forward that ran 100 metres last week, mate. Look at the stats.
Yep.
That's massive. You got to want it. You got to want it to do it. The desire, the attitude.
But you're also your outside backs need to also dig in to try and get those forwards in play. If you look at our side, Kyle Felt, I think for the last couple of years he's been averaging 120 metres a game, and the last two, I think on round one he ran for 200, and last week he ran for another 160 or so. So you get your outside backs getting the ball forward, it lessens the workload on the forwards that they don't have to get back so far to take the hard carries. So I think, if you can get your backs into it, hopefully if Lomax, is he still wanting to play wing? Is he up for the hard carries, or is he wanting to still leave? Or I don't know, I'm not across that. But if you can get Lomax and McKaylee doing that hard yards and bringing the ball back, it does give your forwards a lot more chance to get into the game and engage more to get over that advantage line as well.
Well, he has said that he understands that his preferred position is centre, but he knows Flano has put him on the wing for a reason, and he's happy to do the job for the team.
I think with just on that, people say, "Oh, my preferred spot's this or that." Wouldn't you just be happy that you're playing the game you grew up as a kid loving? Yeah, just running out with a name and number on your back, regardless of the position. Like Ben Hunt wants to play halfback, but he plays hooker for Origin because it's a Queensland jersey, and it doesn't matter where you are. I just want to play for that jumper.
Any one of us would have played for free, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And so
you just want to represent your state and your country.
Yeah, and you look at your preferred position, and I want to play here and there. Valentine Holmes was signed to the Cowboys under Paul Green as a fullback. He's on fullback money. Didn't quite cut the mustard at fullback, but he wanted to be the fullback. I don't want to play wing. I play wing for the Sharks. I just want to be the number one. And Peyton's going, "Oh, you're not really a one when we've got Hammer and Drinky there. How about playing centre?" He didn't kick stones. He took it on, and now he's probably one of the best centres in the game.
He is.
So if the coach wants you to do something, you just do it. Like, do you go to work and say, "Oh no, boss, I don't want to dig that trench today"? Well, you're a Sparky, and we need cables dug here. So, "Oh no, I'll just sit in the ute instead."
Mate, I just wanted to be in the 17. But yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. Is that it, boys?
Yeah, and just Sowie's just added to his comment. So he said we're off the pace last week. Lots of things weren't great, but relax, we are 1 from 2. Just popped in another comment as well. Lomax had 40 carries in 2 weeks. I think he's engaged. Have we heard Zach speak? No, it's the media.
Yeah, and that's the other thing as well. The media will always find a headline and a scandal to try and, they've got to butter their bread, and I haven't seen an honest politician or an honest media personality yet. One other thing with you guys, as well, the skipper of your podcast, Come On Dragons Fans Fire Up. I just want to shout out a big kudos to him. I love those videos. He does a bloody good job riling you guys up. I was doing a little bit of that probably for the last 6-7 years. I've got a Facebook page called On the Spot. I think my last video would have been mid last year, and they're not as consistent as what he does. That's incredible. Like that, fans like that is what keeps you engaged with the club.
He does a lot for us. He's an absolute champion. We all love him. He's just
tied up with work at the moment. Unfortunately, we can't have him on.
He's dedicated.
He's
He'll
the
put
Mad
himself
Dragon.
by. He'll jump in pools. He'll hit his head against the ball in videos. He'll bash up his kids in a video.
Yeah,
He'll do
does
all
he?
He does it all.
Does he-
Yep. He's the reason why this show's going. So
He's
Yeah.
the reason
Yeah,
why this show's. He's the reason why this show's called the Mad Dragons podcast, because he's the Mad Dragon.
he is a mad dragon. But that's what you want, you know. You want your fans to be like that. You know, we've got our own podcast up here called On the Ranch as well, and you know, you're doing it for the love of your club. You know, where none of us here are on Joe Rogan money or Hello Sport or anything like that. You're doing it as a bunch of mates that get behind the club in the good times and the bads. And trust me, boys, I know what you're going through, and you just got to fight through it every week. And you know, you always find the positives. Don't rag them out, because it swings and flows this game so quickly. Where you can be 1-3 after this weekend, you could easily find yourself 4-2 after round 6.
Hopefully, I said we'd win 4 out of our first 6 games, and the Dolphins game was our second win, but it wasn't the second win. We got 1 now. But
hopefully it's
anyway.
the wake-up call we needed.
Exactly. All right, thanks, Pete. Thanks for coming on.
No,
We'll have
thanks,
to
Pete.
return. We'll have to return.
No dramas. Yeah, for sure. I'll have you on when we play you again later on. I think we've got you later in the year, don't we? I haven't quite looked at the draw full time yet. I've only gone up as far as Magic Round. So if you're in the area for Brisbane, I mean, I live in Townsville, but if you've never been to Magic Round, I strongly recommend getting down for it. I've only been 2 years in a row. It is an amazing atmosphere for that. So yeah, you go with that. I was just going to say, obviously not this year, but if you can book your flights and everything for next year, it's definitely a great spectacle. So or if you're over in Townsville sometime, we'll pop up. We'll catch up for a beer as well.
For sure.
Just had one of our supporters, Grant Ross, saying, "Pistol Pete, you're an absolute gentleman." So you got a few followers on our page as well.
Hey, cheers for that, boys. It's easier to catch flies with honey than vinegar. Just remember that one. So be nice to each other, and at the end of the day, it's always just a game.
And you just want to give your want a plug as well? You want to give your podcast a bit of a plug?
Yeah. So we do a podcast called On the Ranch. We do every Tuesday night as well. I'm actually in Catherine for work for the next week, so I've missed tonight's episode, but Morgan and Rob and Kat and everyone, they're recording tonight in Townsville, and I'm actually listening. I'm looking forward to listening to it when it drops tomorrow. So it's on every podcast outlet you can get: Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, all that as well. So yeah, if you're a Cowboy supporter, or if they're your second favorite team and you want to find out about Cowboy news, you guys are a lot more. I mean, we do it together instead of over video, but you guys edit and do a lot more than what we do. So it's a pleasure to be on your show as well. So yeah, like I said, if you're a Cowboy fan, give On the Ranch a listen if you want.
I'll let me mate's son know he's a big Cowboys fan. Cameron, shout out to you, buddy. Yeah, he's a big Cowboys fan, so I'll let him know.
Yeah, happy days. Just one more thing on that. We had On the Ranch merchandise. I went down to a game a couple of years ago against Roosters and met a few people outside, and they're all Cowboy supporters. And do you listen to that podcast? Well, I'm actually on it. We listen every week, and they're from Terrigal, and they just wanted to see Scotty Drinkwater because he's the hometown hero from Terrigal. So exchanged numbers and a few things, and got in touch with Drinky, and they got the young boys' boots signed a few weeks later when they went up to watch a game. So happy days. You don't understand what you guys are doing, how much that impacts the rusted on Dragons fans and everyone else in the Dragon community. So keep up the good work, and just remember that it goes a lot further than what you think your four walls are as well. So it's a good thing you're doing.
Cheers, Pete.
Thanks, Pete.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks for jumping on.
Absolute champion.
No worries at all, boys. Have a good one.
On Saturday night.
Yeah, for sure. And I've got the Mad Dragons number as well. So either way, we'll send each other a good text or a bad text after full time at one stage.
You're beauty.
Cheers. Champion boys.
Very much.
Right.
No worries. Get on Felty first try scorer or Sloan for you guys.
Nice.
No worries. Have a good one, lads.
Enjoy.
All right. See you later on. Oh,
Be
bye.
safe out there.
Will do.
All right, yeah, great
Nice.
pleasure having Pete on for that segment, and a bit longer than normal that segment tonight, but it was great having him on, and yeah, hopefully if we do play the Cowboys later in the year, we can get him back on. And yeah, we actually good to have Jamie Soward watching the pod, and Big T actually has a question for him regarding one of his favourite players. If he's still watching.
Who's that? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, if he's still watching. Where's Mags? Sign her up. Come on. We've got to get her back.
Oh, mate. It's a beautiful girl.
Yes, sign the maggots, Howie, and if you'd like to come on later in the year too, we'd love to have a chat to preview the NRLW season before. Yeah, and have a chat what the plans are for this year, building on from last year. So.
I could throw in $10.
Yeah, give us the L. Okay, we'll move on to our next segment now, where all the viewers get involved, and for the second time, we have a prize up for grabs. Didn't go off last week, so get your thinking caps on for this. Okay, so get your thinking caps on, as I said before, Dragons fans. So we're playing the Cowboys this weekend. The Cowboys have won 5 of the last 6 games head-to-head against the Dragons. As I said before as well, head-to-head, they've met 38 times. The Cowboys have won 21. The Dragons have won 17. Now, wind the clock back to 1999 when the two clubs met for the first time. First season ever for the St George Illawarra Dragons. So you can name the venue and who won the first ever game between the Dragons and the Cowboys. The prize will be heading your way. So fire away in the comments. And let's see how we go. So who won the first ever contest between the St George Illawarra Dragons and the North Queensland Cowboys back in 1999? There'll be a bonus point for the score. You don't have to get it, but just see if you can name who won the game. And the venue was Kogarah as well. So, well, there you go, Johnny Burke. He's got it straight up. Well done, Johnny. Yeah, so the Dragons actually won that game 22 points to 18 in front of a crowd of 8,156. So if you can just get me on direct message, send me forward me your details, and we'll get that prize sent out to you. I'll follow you up straight after.
Tell us about the prize, Jesse.
So the prize is courtesy of our major sponsor, Complete Warehouse Solutions, and you'll be getting a stubby cooler, a Complete Warehouse Solutions stubby cooler. So that is heading your way. So yeah, just direct message me and send me your details, and that'll be great. And we'll get that out to you. Okay, we'll move on to our next bit now. So we'll move on into our discussions about our team and also what this round is about. So I'll go to you, Big T. So this week we celebrate Multicultural Round, recognising all different cultures represented in both the NRL and NRLW. What are your thoughts on this round and this initiative that Andrew Abdo and Pelita Landis have come up with? Big T, you there?
Who was that for?
You.
For me.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Pick up your game, T.
That's it, mate. I'm just being distracted at the moment.
So yeah, multicultural round. What's your thoughts on
question,
it?
Jesse? Sorry.
So yeah, this week we celebrate multicultural round, recognise all the different cultures in the game. What are your thoughts on this initiative done by the NRL? And do you think it's good that they raise awareness and recognise all different cultures and backgrounds that all our men and women have in the game?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We've got people from all over the world that play NRL rugby league. You've got the lower grades. You've got everybody's there. African, Asian, Middle Eastern, English. I don't know if there's any Yanks over here at the moment, but all the different cultures, bring them together. And we can learn about each other.
We're an inclusive game.
Like Australian culture, pie and chips. Sorry, what was that? We're
an inclusive game. We're open to every culture playing in the game, and look, you're freezing up a little bit there, Big
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so Rob, I'll go to you. So Flano threatened
breaking
big
up,
changes.
mate. I can't hear
you. You're freezing up too. Hopefully Big T can fix that up. So Rob Flano has hinted big changes following Sunday night's embarrassing performance against the Dolphins. But he's only made the forced changes with the suspension of Francis Mola and concussion protocols ruling out Jacob Little. Are you surprised at any of the selections there?
I think it's just a threat from Flano to get the players back on track, back on order. And I hope I never thought he was going to really drop any player of significance this weekend, to be honest with you. But I hope he stands by what he says. And you can already see with other NRL clubs, they've dropped players, significant players. Sadly, if we're on the wrong score of the scoreboard by a bit again, I think Flano then has to, make some changes. You want to keep the team accountable. You want to keep the positions competitive as well too. Otherwise, we're going to be back like we were with Hook. And Hook just had his favourites, and he never dropped any of these players. So, it's probably a little bit disappointing, but I can understand he wants to give him another go. But yeah, I mean, if we're up for a loss again this weekend, especially if we're not putting in and we're getting flogged, then he's going to have to make changes. There's no doubt.
Well, if we get belted the way we did last week, and he doesn't make some wholesale changes, he is going to lose a lot of credibility. Now that he's come out and said that, I may have to make some changes. If he goes 2 weeks in a row with massive losses, what other choice does he have?
No, he's got no choice, mate. And then
he said Hame Sele was back this week, and that's been for the last 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, they did the same thing with Bud Sullivan last year. He was back next week for about 6 or 7 weeks.
So it's a massive concern with Hame Sele, and who knows when he'll come back. But yeah, as we said on Sunday night show, it's not an injury you can rush. I mean, you rush him back too soon, he could be out for another 6 weeks.
No, that's potentially for the entire season if the wrong thing happens. So
I'm doing the right thing by not rushing.
A major pickup. So
I'm concerned too, Jess. Picking up on Hasman said, like, you look at Leilua. I know he's almost like a marquee player, 900,000 a season, whatever it is, 800,000 with whatever the money works out being over the period of time. But he just seriously did not look fit last week, and now he's in the starting team. I don't know. Is Flano raced him back in too quickly because he's playing his old team, and will that inspire us, or is that what he's looking for?
But either that or he's trying to run the
minutes. I don't know. What do you think, Hasman? Do you look at a player that could play 80 minutes in Luch? You didn't look at last week.
I don't think he's ever been an 80
he's been an 80 minute play, but I mean, if you 60 minutes or 65. It
I
doesn't
just-
look like to me.
Look, the only thing I can sort of think of as to why he's been picked again is that Flano is trying to, get him fit just by giving him game time, which personally I think is an absolutely terrible idea. I think he needs to play down in sort of reserve grade until he gets his a bit of fitness. You got to remember he didn't have the same sort of grueling off season that the rest of the players are purported to have had.
He only came to us late, yeah.
He's come in that late. He hasn't had the benefit that all the other players have had. So,
And no trials.
Who knows what they did in Townsville?
To get him fit.
And no trials. So, yeah, it's a worry.
Well, he played 50 minutes in that game, but he hardly made an impact as well. And that's a long time to not do anything in that frame of time. Big bulk of the game.
Well, to be fair, no one really made an impact in that game from the Dragons.
Listen, Murray Cooper said changing strategies rather than players. Like Sowie said before, we had the wrong game plan last week. The game plan just didn't work, and hopefully we can change it around this week.
Yeah, but I love Sowie to death. Sowie, if you're still listening, how can you have 3 tries, maybe even 4? I can't remember how many it was.
Oh yeah,
From 5 meters out, and they just run over like it's touch football. I mean, come on, mate. You can't just say it was an off game. That's poor. We went to 16-0 down, wasn't it? And then it was like heads down. It was like an under-8 soccer match. Heads went down.
We were still in it at 10-0, yeah.
And it was like, we're going to lose. This is like last season. And last season was probably better because some games we were closer.
But I don't know why the guys just drop their bundle when anything goes against them. They just got to chin up and get on with it.
Yeah, where was the resilience that we saw the week before?
Yeah. But I don't think captain's not here, and I think he was right. The Titans had Foreign out, they had Campbell out, they had Fafita out, they had a few. They had halves in there that were just
inexperienced,
and that they just weren't capable of really of giving it to us. I mean, any other team, I don't know, a stronger team with all those sets on their line, I'm sure they would have scored 1 or 2 tries, mate.
Well, that's just
not a lot of tries against the Dolphins. That was
maybe, but you can only play the team that you got in front of you.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
You've still got to defend your line, make the tackles, make defensive decisions. It doesn't matter
who you play, Hasman.
You still got to do that.
Doesn't matter what team you're playing.
We did it. We did it against the Titans. We didn't do it against the Dolphins. It's that simple.
And the Dolphins had Nicarima go, halfway through the first half, and then what's his name?
Well, who they had or didn't have is completely irrelevant.
No, but I'm saying they lost.
They outplayed it.
To play against the players that you've got in front of you.
No, I know that, mate, but I'm saying they lost some of their key spine players during the game, and we still couldn't capitalise. I thought we were in the game still at halftime. You know what I mean? And we still couldn't capitalise on coming back. We didn't score a point. So how do you explain?
First time since 2020, we haven't scored a point. Round 3, 2020.
That's a big concern too. That goes back to the Souths game trial when we, in the first half, we had a strong team on the paddock and we still couldn't score a point except for a mistake, from the Souths player. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Just I guess we've got to hope for a big change in attitude. I guess attitude's everything, right? And the attitude wasn't on.
I just hope Flano's really put a rocket up them this week and really flogs them, because that's the sort of thing they need, and they need a wake-up call. And this Saturday, if we dish up that performance again, there'll be empty seats by full time. There'll be no one there by the end of the game.
I mean, Hasman, do you think the Cowboys are stronger than the Dolphins? I mean, if we go anywhere near the game we play against the Dolphins, the Cowboys will flog us.
They could put 50.
Well, if we play against the Cowboys the way that we did last week, it'll be 40 plus, easy, maybe even 50. The Cowboys are a lot stronger than the Dolphins. They proved that by kicking the absolute shit out of them, the week before.
They put 43 on them. That's terrible.
Anyway, we'll move on to our next bit. So,
I still have faith. It's still there.
It's still round 2, so maybe it is the wake up call they did need, and maybe it's better off having the loss at this time of year than we're having it at the back end of the year.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take it, Jess.
Well, this question is going to you, Big T. So Jesse Marshke been named for his NRL debut at 9. Are you surprised that Marshke has got the nod at 9 over Connor Mulheiser, who has a slightly more experience? Or do you expect Marshke to be in the run-on side and possibly spend time in the halves pushing Flanagan to 9?
That's what I was saying earlier on. You don't know what Shane Flanagan's going to do. He could have Musty run on a 6 in the number 9 and Kyle in number 6 playing number 9. So, but I like Musty. I've watched him in the lower grades. He's pretty good. I don't think he's going to set the world on fire yet, but I think he'll go all right.
Yep. And what do you hope to see in his NRL debut?
I hope to see him get 5-6 points in the or 5 points or whatever it is in Dally M.
Yeah, obviously he comes in for Jacob Little, and Jacob Little's our running dummy half, and he's got big shoes to fill there, but hopefully he's up for the task, and can he have a good debut for us? Hasman.
Hopefully he does.
Yeah. Hasman. So Jack DeBello ships up front, Tom Eisenhuth to lock, and Luciano Leilua from the bench to the edge. What are your thoughts on Flano's reshuffle to the forward pack?
I agree with 2 out of the 3 of those changes. I think DeBellin's days of being a locker well and truly behind him. I liked Eisenhuth at lock in the first game. Luciano Leilua, as we've already alluded to, absolutely not ready for NRL yet. He's nowhere near fit enough. Do not agree with that at all. I like DeBellin in the front row. I think that's where he should be. I liked Eisenhuth at lock. I think that's where he should be. But Leilua, there's about 3 or 4 players that I would pick ahead of him. Even Dan Russell. I'd pick Dan Russell ahead of him, every day of the week and twice on Sundays just on fitness alone.
Yeah, and obviously we don't have Frankie Molo. What sort of impact do we miss with him not being in the team?
A couple less penalties. I mean, Molo's had a very sort of up and down, sort of career since he joined us. He's had some really good games and some absolute bloody shockers. I mean, obviously, with the forward pack the Cowboys have got, I wouldn't mind him there just for the size. He gives away a lot of penalties. Some really stupid ones as well. Although, you can say the same thing about Blake Lowry because, he's still a little bit slower than he needs to be. I think the biggest issue with this sort of reshuffle is sort of the reduced cohesion that that they're going to have. I mean, you're bringing in all these players that haven't played in the same games in the same positions. I mean, how do you get the combinations going?
No, that's for sure. And you look at the round 1 team. Like Eisenhuth did the job in the middle. DeBellin did the job up front. Obviously, the only change there in the full packs there from that game is Fatala Mariner's gone back to the bench. She struggled to make the impact as well against the Dolphins, like the rest of the forward pack. But interesting to see that he's gone with Leilua just on that performance alone. And he failed to make an impact. But
another thing too, we might be missing is my biggest concern is the Ben Hunt factor. Ben Hunt last season pretty much exclusively solely was trying to run the whole team across the park. with almost, without being ridiculous, 80-90% of the plays, the kicking, the positional play, the passing, and everything. Fantastic.
Exactly what he did last week.
Great player for us and all that. But
where the hell was Flanagan last week?
He went MIA.
What is, and that's my biggest concern, is that we're going back to last season, Hunt exclusively pretty much doing everything. And the opposition aren't dumb. This is not Dumb and Dumber. Hunt's just going to get so much pressure put on him all the time. And there's no release valve. The big statement from Flano was, Kyle's there to take the pressure off Hunt. So Hunt can go back to his running game. Kyle can kick as well too, in general play. But last week, it was absolutely non-existent. And I think on the MD site, there was people saying, did Flanagan actually play the game? Because he was unseen. So if that goes back to what happened last season with Hunt trying to do everything himself, forget about it. We're gone. Because it's not going to work out. And the opposition aren't stupid. You know what I mean? And we're not talking about Nathan Cleary here. Ben Hunt's 34 years old. Great player, but, it's just you can't do it all on his own anymore.
Lisa Marie Cooper's just said, I don't think Leilua was awful against the Dolphins. Not worse than anyone else, even though not being match fit. He's a pretty good option 50 minutes. I think he'll come on okay. Well, I hope you're all right, Lisa, because, if he doesn't perform with the big pay packet he's on, he's going to cop a lot of scrutiny from Dragons fans if he doesn't produce and show why he's on that sort of money.
But you got to be fit. You got to be fit to play first grade NRL. You can't just go out there because of reputation alone or whatever. You're going to get caught out. You need that match fitness, like what Hasman was saying. And you can't just go play first grade, NRL to get match fitness. It doesn't work that way. You got to
train the house down, yeah.
Train the house down and get it from maybe the lower grade, And Hasman's probably right. And Big T, I think you said, he probably hasn't done a lot of training in the off season, and obviously he's missed a couple of the initial games and trials and all that. You can't go and get that fitness and just train
for one game, yeah.
That's right.
So I see alarm bells, mate. To be honest with you, I really do. Because fitness is fitness at the end of the day. You can't, especially in the second row, you can't run out there and sort of go out the sideline and have a spell like a halfback does. So I don't know. I see alarm bells in it, to be honest with you. Unless he's going to play him in patches of 15 minutes or something, I don't know. But who knows?
We'll go to our next bit now. So, Rob, no changes to the back line despite our obvious lack of speed other than Tyrell Sloan. What's your thoughts on it? Has Flano made the right call here to stick with the same back five?
Look, like I said before, I think he wants to give him another go and all that sort of stuff. But look, for me, I don't like Lomax on the wing. I like him in the centre. I understand what Flano's trying to do, shore up the back line, the defence. But look, no offence, but Jack Bird to me is past being a centre. He's been a very good player in his time, but I don't think he's a centre anymore. This guy's had chronic knee injuries and all sorts of things, and he doesn't have the pace. He doesn't have the pace in attack as well too. So I would be putting Lomax back to centre, and I would have been giving that. I can't remember the name. Jesse, you might know the winger we've got, the real speedster.
Sione Finau.
Finau ago, and just the Flano said it was 2024 was meant to be a growing year for us. We'll just stick and pick him.
You got Savelio Somali, another option.
We need a speedster. I mean, I'm trying to talk too much, but look at the game, the Manly game, the Roosters, Manly versus Roosters. Look how fast some of their outside backs were. The Manly winger. I mean, we lack, besides Sloan,
Dom Young as well.
We lack an out-and-out speedster in our team, so we really need that. And Jack Bird can fill in as a 14 maybe and play in the second row. He can play in different positions, even 5'8" or whatever.
He's an injury cover, I think.
The best football's past him. And if you're gonna put Lomax next to Jack Bird and you're gonna say who's the better centre, I'm taking Lomax every day of the week. I'm sorry, but that's just my opinion.
But unfortunately, Lomax is our best winger, our best fullback, and our best centre all at the same time.
Well, that's part of the problem as well too, mate. But yeah, I mean, in a certain position, maybe after this last week's performance, he would strengthen us. Being back in the centres, to be honest with you, because they were running through us and around us like it was nobody's business.
Okay, so go to you, Big T, for this one. So the Dragons went away from what worked for them in round 1 against the Titans. Do you think they panicked in round 2? The Dolphins looked like they had them unsettled. Do you think that was down to the Dolphins' game plan and the style of football they played? Do you expect Flano to come hard on them this week if they don't turn it around against the Cowboys?
Oh, for sure. There'll be wholesale changes next week if they don't turn it around against the Cowboys. I think last week they took that intercept. Oh, not the intercept. They took the bomb, and Fidel scored the try. The heads just went down. I don't know what happened. We just couldn't get anything right. It was like playing South Sydney again. Couldn't get anything right in the Charity Shield. Like Rob says, it was poor defence. It was the wrong game plan. So hopefully they can turn it around. Sloan wasn't behind the ruck as much as I thought he should be. Neither was Lomax. So hopefully they'll come good this week.
Yeah, fair enough. Hasman, so that's our first home game back at Kogarah. Are you expecting a big crowd for our first home game of 2024 against the undefeated Cows?
Not as big as it would have been without last week's debacle. I still think there'll be a decent crowd, but it's not going to be anywhere near a sellout. Not after that performance last week. We win last week, different story.
Be 100%.
They'll be lucky to get 3/4 capacity, I think.
Would have been a top of the table clash had we won. Well, 2 undefeated teams, and when was the last time we started the year on? We haven't won our first 2 games in the season since 2018, which that year actually we won our first 6 games. So the last time we played finals footy that Rob's mentioned a few times. So
plus you got to remember too, Jesse, 38-0 was a flogging. It got to 16-0, and then there was just try after try after try. I mean, Flano should have come on the field to defend us.
Once the Dragons' heads go down, that's it. They give up. They just got to get out of that mentality and realise never give up no matter what. Keep playing to the 80th minute. No matter if you're behind by 20 or 50 or if you're in front by 10. Just keep playing. Keep playing. And who knows what happens. Just never give up.
And that's what I think the coach is bringing to us, but for some reason the players just lost it last week. They lost the plot.
They don't like things going against them. That's part of the game. That happens. And they just got to get on with it. Anyway, so if you just joined us, so you're watching the Mad Dragons podcast, proudly sponsored by Complete Warehouse Solutions. So we'll move into an ad now about our Etsy store. So you can get your Mad Dragons merchandise here at the Etsy store. So you can get singlets, t-shirts, stubby coolers, both Mad Dragons and Muzza's League of Legends. Check out the stores today. Well, none of our panel tonight have any of the merchandise on, but the shirts fit very well and they are very comfortable as well. So if you're looking for any shirts, any gifts for a friend, birthday coming up, there's merch there that can suit your needs. So go have a look at the Etsy store today and grab your Mad Dragons podcast merchandise.
I'm a superstar. I'm on that slide. Look at me. I'm a champion. I'm a superstar.
Very good in the shirt, Big T.
There he is, that guy in the big black shirt, eh?
That's actually the first shirt I bought. I've bought 3 or 4 now, but that's the first one. That was 5XL, and now I'm down to a 3XL. So good on me.
Good stuff.
You're almost at Dragons fitness levels, mate.
Who's been training with the Dragons? Sorry, Big T.
I have been, mate. I've been up there every Monday and Wednesday.
Oh. Dan Lawson's been working on you too. It looks
Hey,
like.
Big T, I wonder what happened to the cheer girls, the Dragons cheer girls. You training with them?
Oh, did you see the Manly cheer girls on the weekend? Oh,
Yeah,
my
I
God,
know.
we've got to bring it back. Bring back the Flames. Bring back the Flames.
It's sad, isn't it? Those were the glory days, mate.
Oh, it is. But those girls get paid fairly well, like the good girls. They get paid very well, the good girls. But
Yeah.
all this woke culture, you can't be degrading. You can't be, like, people still call me a pommy poofter, and I don't care.
But sometimes you listen to the ground announcer, he's as boring as batshit. He's boring as Hook. You know what I mean? You got the cheer girls, they're doing chants and cartwheels. It's exciting. You know? Hook got knocked back for a job at funeral undertaker as well, too, apparently. He's too boring for the job.
He bored them to death, did he?
Yeah. Walks past the dead and they tell him, "You're boring me. Leave us alone."
Okay, we'll move on to some lower grade chat. So, in New South Wales Cup, they have the bye this weekend, but in the Jersey Flag, that'll be the curtain raiser for the NRL game on Saturday. That'll be Saturday at 3:10 as the curtain raiser for our NRL game at 5:30, and the Jersey Flag team will be taking on the Cavite Silktails, the team from Fiji. In the junior reps, so we got the Illawarra Steelers up against the Penrith Panthers in the Lisa Fayola Cup. So they'll be played at St Mary's League Stadium on Saturday at 11 o'clock. 12:30 p.m. again, the Touchscale Cup, they'll also be taking on the Penrith Panthers again at St Mary's Leagues. That'll be at 12:30 p.m. on Saturday. 11:30 a.m. on Sunday, it's the Harold Matthews Cup. They'll be taking on the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs at Hammond Mill Oval in Moorebank. The SG Ball Cup team will also be heading to Hammond Mill Oval. That'll be played at 1 o'clock against the Bulldogs. The St George Dragons junior rep. So in the Lisa Fayola Cup, they head to Foreshore Park in Sylvania. They'll be taking on the Central Coast Roosters. So it's a home game for the Dragons. In the Tasha Go Cup, they'll be taking on the Canberra Raiders, 11:30 a.m. 1 p.m. Sunday, it'll be against the Raiders in the Harold Matthews Cup. And 2:30 p.m. on Sunday, it's the SG Ball Cup also against the Canberra Raiders. So if you're not doing anything on Saturday or Sunday, head out to St Mary's Leagues out near Penrith for the girls, the Steelers girls up against the Panthers. Moorebank on Sunday for the boys, the Steelers boys in the Harold Matson SG Ball. And then a festival of rugby league on Sunday up at Sylvania with the all grades and the St George Dragons junior reps playing against the Central Coast Roosters and the Canberra Raiders. We'll move on in now to our next segment. Okay.
It's time to look at the one-on-one battles that will decide the game. Will it be the key position players? Will the fight be won out wide? Or will it be one up front? Strap yourself in for Coco's Classic!
Okay, unfortunately, Coco couldn't join us tonight, but she has sent us through who she thinks are her best clashes. So she's gone for Tyrell Sloan up against Scott Drinkwater, Blake Laurie up against Jason Tamalolo, Zach Lomax against Kyle Felt, Kyle Flanagan against Tom Dearden, Ben Hunt against Chad Townsend, and Moses Sully up against Valentine Holmes. So the reason behind her decisions on those players, she's gone for speed, the size of the big boys, and she believes the halves will control and run the game. Hasman, what are your thoughts on Coco's clashes there? Do you think that they could be crucial to what decides the game?
Well, I think the Blake Laurie Tamalolo one certainly could be. A little bit concerned about that one. not sure Blocker can go with Tamalolo if he's on. But my major concern now, my understanding is that it's actually going to be Jack Bird up against Valentine Holmes, not Moses Sully. And if that's the case, that scares the absolute crap out of me. I mean, you've seen what Valentine Holmes can do. He's very quick, and Jack Bird's decidedly not. If Holmes starts putting bloody steps on him, between Bird and Ravalawa, we could be in trouble. It could be another case of speed kills.
And Big T, what are your thoughts on Coco's clashes? Do you think any deciding factors that stand out there for you in those matchups?
I think Sloan and Drinkwater, they've got to get in. Both of them are going to get involved. Well, I hope Drinkwater doesn't, but I hope Sloan gets involved in the play more. Around the ruck, like following up, being a good backer upper. He's got to be there. Him and Lomax have to swap in that position. That's going to be a big clash, I think. And the halves are going to be huge as well. Hunt up against Dearden and K Flan up against Townsend. So it's going to be huge clashes. Huge clashes.
Now, Hasman, and where do you think this game will be won or lost?
I think it'll be won or lost in the forwards. We saw last week our forwards made absolutely no impact, and consequently, Hunt wasn't able to do much. I said it before. Your halves are only as good as your forwards. If your forwards can't give you the momentum, you're not going to be able to do a goddamn thing. If DeBellin and Blake Lowry and the like can sort of get a bit of momentum and give Flano and Hunt something to work with, we might be in the chance. But if we're under the same scenario as last week, I think it could be an absolute bloodbath.
Yeah, 100%. If they're not too careful, the Cowboys do have many points in them. They weren't at their best last week, but if we were to give them any sniff of attack and make too many errors like we have been in recent times, this score could be anything if we're not on our game. But we have to show we're right up for it from the get start. And I've noticed in recent times, if we're not first to score, we lose 95% of games. So if we're going to win, we need to score points very early in the game because we don't like chasing points.
Totally agree.
Well, I'll throw this one to you, Hasman. So 100% footies, Michael Chamis reported last night that we are interested in Penrith outside back Taylor May, with Melbourne, the other club, interested. What do you think of this? The Dragons reportedly interested in this. Do you think he'd be a good acquisition for us from next year?
Absolutely, it would be. But let's be realistic. How much would we have to overpay him for him to turn down a club like Melbourne? We'd have to pay him 1.6 a bloody season. Like that's the issue that we've got. We can't attract high-profile players unless we play drastic overs for them. And I can't see the Taylor and May scenario being any different. If we can get him, great. But what's it going to cost us to get him?
Well, apparently he's been reportedly offered $500,000 a season for I don't know the length of contract that the Panthers have offered him, but I think he wants more. It's been reportedly around $500,000, but he's probably not one of the Panthers' better players. Whether or not he wants to try and test his value elsewhere and try and get an upgrade, but the Panthers do want to
just be doing what every player seems to do, and talk to the Dragons to get his bloody price up.
I mean, Big T, you had something to say on this too. You'd like to see Taylor May at the Dragons?
I think he's done well for the Panthers over the last couple of weeks. He's ran well. He's strong. His defence might be a bit sus, but that's just the Dragons, you know. Yeah, but he's got a couple of brothers out there too, and I'll take all three, I reckon.
That'd be good. Yeah, Tyrone's in France playing for the Catalans Dragons, and Terrell's obviously playing off the bench at the Roosters. But
Right.
you know, you've seen how good the Roosters side is. He could easily be starting front row for us.
For sure.
I'll chuck this one to Hasman. This Big T's a Queenslanders. This is a New South Wales related question. It's been reported that Michael Maguire has called Zach Lomax and is looking at Lomax's form on the wing. Madge Maguire is impressed. Do you think Lomax would look out of place on the wing for the Blues?
I don't think he would be, but I mean, how realistically, how many wingers are there that would be in front of him? I mean,
You got the likes
he's-
of
he's
Josh
multiple
Adokar,
players.
Brian To'o. There's probably a few others I've missed. Crichton can play on the wing. They got Daniel Tupou, possibly. Yeah, there's a few options there, but
Yeah,
if Lomax keeps up that form, who knows?
as good as Lomax is, I don't think he's on that level just yet on the wings. Centre is where I'd pick him if I was going to pick him, but no, there's at least half a dozen wingers that I pick in front of him.
Yep. And Gus Gould even said last week, if Lomax, you should consider Lomax for New South Wales, because if he was selected to represent his state, he'd be that type of player that wouldn't let you down. Okay, we'll move on to our tips, and we were just about to wrap up shortly, but we'll go through our round 3 tips, and then we'll finish off with our tips for the Dragons and Cowboys. So first game for round 3 is the grand final rematch. It's the Penrith Panthers taking on the Brisbane Broncos on Thursday night. So for the Panthers, James Fisher-Harris out with a shoulder injury, while Adam Reynolds is out for the Broncos with a knee injury. Big T, who do you like in this one?
Yeah, they got Jock Maddock coming in for Adam Reynolds. I don't think he's up to the standard of Reynolds. Penrith have to bounce back, don't they? Well, they bounced back last week, but they only just beat Parramatta. But I think the Panthers. I think it'll be too strong for the underdone Broncos.
Are you more of the same, Hasman, or do you think the Broncos can get their revenge from the grand final?
No, I think Reynolds being out, so that is huge for him. If Reynolds was in, I'd give him a chance, but no, Penrith have got to come good sooner or later. They're too good not to, and Reynolds is just too important to the Broncos. Without him, no, I can't see him getting up. Yep.
Okay, we'll move on to our next game. The early kickoff on Friday, where it heads to Apollo Project Stadium in Christchurch. The winless Warriors will be taking on the competition leaders, Canberra Raiders. Who would have thought we would have been saying that after 2 rounds? So for the Warriors, they welcome back Wade Egan from injury, while Elliot Whitehead is back for the Raiders, the skipper. Hasman, who do you like in this one?
I like the Warriors in this one, purely because they're at home. It's one of those games where you could flip a coin. So we'll go with a home team on this occasion. As good as the Raiders have been the first 2 weeks, I've just got this. I've got this feeling about the Warriors.
Will they be looking for their first win, and they were a bit unlucky against Melbourne last week?
They were incredibly unlucky.
Oh.
That last try was just ridiculous. You wouldn't say that in another 100 years.
I've seen a better one, Hasman. Come on. What about Brett Morris's try against the Cronulla Sharks that year?
When he got his 100th try?
He jumped from about 20 metres out They caught the ball and landed
One-handed.
just inside the end goal. Oh, one-handed. That was a better try, I reckon.
I never said it wasn't. I just said you won't see it for another 100 years.
Yeah.
But we've seen two in about 6 years, or 10 years or something. Anyway, I think the Wars in this one.
Not of that caliber.
they've got to come good.
Up the wires on this occasion.
Christchurch,
moving on to
I think they got the job done.
We'll move on to the next game. So it's the oldest rivalry in the league this Friday night. The big battle between the Roosters and the Rabbits. So for the Roosters, Luke Keary's out with concussion. For the Rabbitohs, Lachlan Ernst has been dumped with Dean Hawkins coming into the halves. And Jack Whiten will play his first game for Souths in the centres. Sandon Smith comes in for the Roosters at 5'8". And Angus Crichton comes onto the bench for his first game of 2024. Who do you like in this one, Big T?
I actually think the Roosters will be too strong for the Bunnies. Lachlan Ilias, that's a shock. But they haven't had a win in the first two matches, so Dimitri had to do something. I like to see Dean Hawkins up against Sandon Smith. I think the two youngsters are going to battle it out all game. So.
James Jimmy Gray. Oldest rivalry the Roosters were established in 2000.
Didn't see it.
Calm down, Jimmy. Oh, Jesus.
All right, Hasman, who do you like in this one, the Battle of Sydney?
I've got to go to the Roosters. They were bloody dreadful last week, and Trent Robinson's not the sort of coach that's going to put up with that shit. So they'll be fired up, and Hawkins coming in for Ilias. That's going to disrupt a lot of their the Rabbitohs' cohesion as well. So, but what I'm looking forward to in that one is Damien Cook versus the Cheese. That's going to be a very, very important battle.
Well, I think there'll be one between Latrell and Joey Manu.
Oh, yeah. That'll be huge.
Ooh.
Okay, Saturday, we'll move on. I'm going to go with the Roosters in that one. I think the Rabbitohs just have too many problems. I don't know if Lachlan is their problem. He could be one of their problems, but I don't think he's the only problem at the club at the moment. And it's obviously a few dramas in. I don't know how Jack Whiten will go into that side. I don't know how they'll use him, but I think he needs to get his hands on the ball more. And Latrell Mitchell hasn't had a good start to the year either. He needs to get more involved. Roosters way too many errors in that game against Manly. I think Trent Robinson will be looking for an improved performance, and being against their fiercest rival, I think they'll get the chocolates at home. And for my early tips, I think the Panthers over the Broncos, and I think the Warriors will come good. They've got to get their first win of the year. I think they'll just edge out the Raiders in a tight one. 3 p.m. Saturday, it's the early game. It's up at Belmore. It's the Bulldogs. They welcome back Liam Knight, while the Titans welcome back Kieran Foran. That's their only change from their loss to the Dragons in round one. Hasman, who do you like in this one? Which team will have their first win of 2024?
I like the Titans in this one. The Bulldogs have been absolutely bloody awful the first 2 weeks, and Foran is a massive, massive in for the Titans. I think he'll be able to control the game a lot better than Tanner Boyd. No sign of Fafita yet, but I don't think that's going to make much of a difference. I'm tempted to pick the Bulldogs for the wooden spoon. To be honest, they're just crap. I've got the Titans pretty comfortably.
You going the same way, Big T, or you think the Dogs get their first win?
I've got both these teams in my bottom four, so I think it could be quite a good game for two lower place sides. Again, I like a lot of people. I don't like Matt Burton at 5'8". He's definitely a centre. But yeah, Drew Hutchison, he's a fringe player. He does his job, but he doesn't do a lot more. I think the Titans in this one.
Yep. Okay. So the next one is the Dragons and Cowboys. We'll get to that at the end. Couple of ex-Dragons in this one. So the Tigers and the Sharks like an oval Saturday night. So for the Tigers, Jaden Sullivan has been dumped to the bench, while Donny's boy, Billy Birds, makes his Cronulla Sharks debut. Big T, who do you reckon in this one?
The Tigers game last week, they were terrible. Sharks are just going to be too strong, I think. Even though it is at Leichhardt, which is going to be the last year playing at Leichhardt, I think it is. It's too dangerous. So, yeah, but I think the Sharkies will get them done. Although the Tigers have beaten the Sharks at Leichhardt before.
Hasman, you like that? You like the Sharks as well? Will Billy Burns have a great debut for the Sharks?
No, I think he'll play complete shit like he did for us, but I think the Sharks will win anyway.
All right, we'll move on to our next game. So Sunday, the 4:00 game up at Combank Stadium. It's the Eels and the undefeated Manly Sea Eagles. So for the Eels, Blaze Talangi makes his NRL debut in the centres, pushing Morgan Harper to the wing. And for Manly, Ray Vega comes onto the wing for the injured Tommy Talau in an otherwise unchanged lineup for Manly. This should be a cracking game. Who do you like in this one, Hasman?
Well, again, I think it's the bounce back factor. Manly were pretty bloody ordinary last week, and I think they need to prove that they're better than people think. I mean, obviously Talau's a huge bit of an out for him, but I can't see Parramatta getting anywhere near him.
You more of the same, Big T? You like the Eagles in this one, or will the Eels get back in the winner's circle at home?
I'm going to go the other way. I think Parramatta might get into the winner's circle at home. I'm going to be Para. I think Mitchell Moses and Dylan Brown will be the factors, but they do have Luke Brooks and Daly Cherry Evans. So, but I think Parramatta halves at Combank, they'll get over the Eagles halves.
Yeah, well, my tips I'm going with the Sharks. I think they'll be too strong for the Tigers, and the way Manly's playing with a lot of confidence at the moment. Luke Brooks looks at home in that 6 jumper for Manly. I'm playing outside DCE, and I think Manly will be too strong for Parramatta. And the final game of the round, it's the Newcastle Knights taking on the Melbourne Storm up at McDonald Jones Stadium in Newcastle. So for the Knights, Jackson Hastings has been dumped. Jack Cogger comes into the halves. And Ari Tuala comes back onto the wing with Greg Marzu out with injured. And Jaden Brayley returns for the Knights on the bench after missing a big chunk of last year. While for the Melbourne Storm, Tyron Wishart comes into the halves with Jerome Hughes out suspended for touching the referee. And Kane Bradley comes onto the bench.
What a bunch of bullshit that was. Like, I hate the Storm, as everyone knows, but I mean, for that sort of incidental contact on a referee that wouldn't have bloody been there if he was fit enough to keep up with the play, that's ridiculous. A fine would have been sufficient.
Totally agree with that one. But they were saying if they let that one go, the next one might be a little bit more different. Are they going to let that one go as well?
Well, they'll have to make a judgment call, and they do that on everything else.
True.
Anyway, Big T, who do you like in this one?
Well, they've got 2 young halves, the Melbourne Storm team, haven't they? Jonah Peasant and Tyron Wishart. Coco comes into the side. Coco's a good player for the Knights. I think Cogger and Gamble are the better combination at the Knights. And up at McDonald Jones, I think the Knights will get this one.
Yeah, Jerome Hughes a big out.
Huge out. And they've got their Munster. Munster's not back yet. Where's he? He fell over in the shower.
Yeah, he's still another couple of weeks away.
I think he was trying to get a leg up and he slipped. I've done that.
What happened when he was in Fiji, they said?
Oh, Fiji leg up. Good on you, son. Good on you.
Asman, are you going with the Knights, or will the Storm make it 3 from 3?
No, I've got the Knights in this one too. I think no Munster, no Hughes. That's just going to be too big of a mountain to climb, especially at, in front of the Newcastle home crowd, who can be somewhat vocal and a little bit parochial. I think the lack of experience in the halves is going to be too much.
For me, I think the Knights they had an improved performance against the Cows last week. The Storm, they just did what the Melbourne Storm normally do and played on the 80th minute. But yeah, as you mentioned, Jerome Hughes is a massive out for him. He controls their play and sets up all their plays. Tyron Wishart, while he's an exciting young player, he's just not in the class of Jerome Hughes. While Jack Cogger he'll have that premiership experience from the Panthers last year, coming straight into the Knights side. They'll be looking for their first win of the year, and let's not forget when they were in that streak last year, they did knock over the Melbourne Storm in that run. So at home, I think they'll be pumped and looking to record their first win of the year. I'll go the Knights in a tight one. We'll move on to the important game of the weekend, which is us against the Cowboys. Take us through your predictions for the game, Hasman.
I'm going to get absolutely hammered for this, but I've got the Cowboys by 14-20. I've got Ravalawa to finally score a try. I reckon he'll go in first, and Tyrell Sloan to score for Fatala Mariner offload. Every time Fatala Mariner gets the ball, Sloan should be right on his hammer.
Fair enough.
That's what I've said for ages. There's going to be a backer-upper.
All right, Big T, what do you think's going to happen?
Well, I've still got faith. I think we can bounce back against the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys have won the last 4. We won the 5th one, and they won the 6th one. So 5 out of 6 games. I want to go Rava to score his first try. Rava to score his first try. Anytime try scorer, I'm going to stick Marsky in there to sneak over from dummy half. And like I said, Dragons by 4.
So you reckon the debutant gets a try?
Oh, for sure. They get them all the time. Sloan got a try on debut, so did Cody Ramsey. So
not for Feder.
Why not Marsky? Why not Marsky?
Yeah, I'm going to go. This is a tough one. If the Dragons turn up with that performance as they did against the Dolphins, I'm more leaning towards Hasman's prediction. The Cowboys will absolutely lap us. The score could be anything. But if we turn up with a different attitude, really go back to what we did against the Titans, have that resilience in defense, and cut out those discipline and those poor errors, they can it's a game they can win. It's not impossible for them to win this game. I'll go the Dragons by 2 points. I think it'll be that close. I think the Cowboys will be up for it. And the Dragons will just edge them out in a tight one. This will probably shock you both. I'm gonna go Luciano Leilua to get a try against his old club. I think he'll really step up and show the Cowboys, show his old mates why he left the club and he wanted to come home and show them that he's still show him how good he can be. And he'll his first game back at Kogarah. He's at St George Junior, so I think he'll lift for the occasion. I'll go Tyrell Sloan to score at any stage in the game, and I think we just get home by 2. Again, we'll wrap it up there, but I'd like to thank Complete Warehouse Solutions for being our major sponsor, and again, thank you to them. And if you ever need to anything about to do with your warehouse, go and see Jeff and the team down at 6 Commerce Drive in Lake Illawarra if you need any warehousing done or any good servicing completed. go see Jeff and the team for all your inquiries today. And then, yeah, so I'll sign off with this. Come on, Dragons fans. Fire up. Go the Dragons.
Red V's a part of me.
Go you, Dragons!
Coco is at Mel's heart, she wears it on her sleeve. As Muzza tells tales of dragons, wins and tuna victory. Tony and the MP crew will do their very best. Getting up public and on our breast with a red V on our chest. The Mad Dragon podcast is a sheet of camaraderie. Navigating ranks down rabbit holes in the land of the big red bees. And so our peddlers speak the tales and our friendship is our dream. The Mad Dragon podcast, funded by our team.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks for watching. Oh, we're still there. Still live.